2 days shy of 44 weeks after the start of the 2021 campaign, the curtain falls on season 2021 in the RSRA Super Series with the most famous race of the lot. The virtual Mt Panorama circuit awaits for 8 hours of action as one of the great spectacles in world sport. Not just real world, but virtual ignites before your very eyes. Welcome to SimShed Broadcasting's live and exclusive coverage of the Goodyear Autocare Warana 1000, the final round of not just the RSRA Goodyear Autocare Warana Super Series and the DSL Welding Super 2E Series, but also the respective Dragon RC Triple Crowns as well. Our 40th and final championship round across 3 championship seasons this year. 371 days after Rainer Costello and Lachlan Murphy triumphed here last year, and they're back to try it and back it up and do it again in 2021, but this time in a Ford. What a day we're in for. Championships on the line and a few red-hot guns ready to run caution to the wind and run the gauntlet because they've got nothing to lose, and all eyes are on the big prize of being the victor at Mt Panorama. Good morning, Australia. Good morning, the world. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in. Strap in, buckle up, hold on, because it's going to be an extraordinary 8 hours ahead here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting as we go racing at one of the meccas of world motorsport, one of the most revered pieces of real estate anywhere in the land. It's sacred, it's special, and it's one hell of a way to end an extraordinary season. 40 rounds, 33 different venues in 13 different countries. It has been just an extraordinary ride. This is the only venue that will have raced on 3 times throughout the course of the season by the time we get to the end of the day. What a day we're in for. Matt Davis is here. Mark Johansson's here as well. I'm Zach Caban, and it's great to have you company on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting and Real Sim Racing Australia across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for the next 8 hours. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to you. Oh, Nickle me pink. I'm excited. I'm pumped. And I know you're pumped as well, Matt Davis. What a day we're in for. So much pressure, so much tension, and at the same time, so much excitement.
Oh, it's Bathust, Zach Caban. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, the world. To what's going to be one of the best races all year round in my books. We're at Bathurst, 161 laps, 23 corners to navigate, 161 times. Safety cars are going to be coming out, and we know what Bathurst is going to do. It can bring the most uncertain person from the back of the field all the way to the front, and they'll be standing on that top step. It's all about who can survive the longest today, and that's what these endurances are about, Zach Caban.
Indeed it is. Mark Johansson, of course, part of our Weekend Warriors broadcast team here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. He's in the booth ready to go as well, because whilst there are too many right-hand corners for his liking and the rest of the NASCAR fraternity for that matter, nothing beats Bathurst in Australian motorsport eyes, mates. Good morning to you. Great to have you on board. Looking forward to your insights throughout the course of the day. And this is a totally different level and test of endurance to something like the Daytona 500 or the Talladega 500, the 2 marquee events in NASCAR land. But at the same time, the same virtues are required. You need patience to survive a big day at the office.
Oh, most definitely. Good morning, Matt. Morning, Zach. And morning, everyone out there. Yeah, look, I'm not in the car, but I know what the guys are going through. Their butterflies will be going, because it's exactly the same for us with our Daytona 500. I am really looking forward to some close action from the past rounds. There's been some close racing, so I'm really looking forward to today.
Indeed we are. Now, a few little odds and ends to get through here before we get to a race start. Obviously, we're a little bit late getting on air this morning. That's by virtue of a couple of tech issues. It wouldn't be the biggest day of the year without something testing us along the way. But the server is green. The practice and the warm-up are underway here as we get ready for the 1000. Race start was originally scheduled for 10:15 Eastern Daylight Time. It's been pushed back to 10:25, but we will still have it for you live and uninterrupted right here right throughout the day on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. If we do get through all of our pre-race content and race control and everyone else already happy, strapped in, good to go, we may bring that start back forward to 10:15 a.m., but we will wait and see. For those of you on Facebook Live, this is the first of 2 broadcasts that you'll see throughout the course of the day, because in around an hour's time, we'll invite you to switch over to a new server due to the live timing on Facebook. You can only go Facebook Live for 8 hours, and obviously we need more than 8 hours to get today's broadcast in because of the plethora of information that we have to divulge after the event itself. For those of you watching through our YouTube platforms, make sure you stay where you are, because we're not leaving you right throughout the course of the day. There will be a small intermission again when we switch servers on Facebook, but stay there, because one of the great spectacles in Australian sport is coming your way as we wrap up the season. Now, let's start by addressing the big news, Matt Davis, and that was, of course, the top 10 shootout yesterday. Such a compelling afternoon at the office. Rainer Costello absolutely smashed it out of the park with a 2:04. Unfortunately, a little bit of youthful exuberance on his way into pit lane, a little bit of hooning, you could say, has cost him pole position. Race control didn't view it too favourably when he came in all crossed up, burnt out, lit up, and therefore those guys, the defending champions, looking to do what only a handful of drivers have done in the real world, win the race in Ford as well as Holden, have been relegated to 10th on the grid. So they will start from the outside of the 5th row. Going to be a big test for them, because in the early stages, they're going to be stuck in a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, they're really going to have to try and compromise off the start, gain a couple of positions. We know a lot of people can bog down off the start with the nerves that are building, especially going out in the first of 7, or I believe it's going to be about 4 lots of stints. They'll do 3 lots of stints. So there's 7 pit stops today, and it's so that's going to equate to roughly 3 to 4 driver changes there throughout the course of the day. But coming out first, you're going to have the nerves as we see the drivers lining up at the under the Armour All Bridge, should I say, and going to put on a little bit of a parade lap quickly before the final warm-up session commences.
Not dissimilar to what we've seen when we've gone racing with the Anzac Cup. It's not a parade lap per se, but you are going to get a look at all the drivers on track here before we rock and roll. We have seen parade laps as part of Weekend Warriors Anzac Cup meetings in the past, Mark Johansson, so you know what this is all about. But at the same time, we're making sure that we avoid the problems of last year, where we had a higgledy-piggledy grid and qualifying meant absolutely nothing. So we're just making sure that everything's going to work with regards to the drivers start exactly where they're supposed to on the grid this morning. That was one of the controversial talking points of last year's 1000. We'd like to avoid that in 2021. That's not just race control organisers, but commentators as well. 4 cars starting from pit lane due to a wide variety of different infringements. Brian Borg and, of course, his new co-driver will be starting from pit lane. He had a change of co-driver after qualifying. That's why he will start from pit lane this morning. Tony Gaffer and Daniel Leake. Daniel already commenting on YouTube saying happy RSRA Bathurst Day. He's starting from pit lane as well. Jeff Eddy and Robert Braw ran the wrong number in qualifying. So they're starting from pit lane. And Kai Turner and Dean Alessi, because they blew up and had to get a tow in qualifying, they'll start from pit lane as well. So 28 cars on the grid, 4 from pit lane. But stranger things have happened here, boys. I wouldn't rule out one of those drivers from pit lane if, a vast variety of different factors fall into place for them, coming through and scoring a top 10 or a podium or even a win.
Oh, it's very high, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say, I do recall back in the late 70s, I believe it was, early 80s, that Larry Perkins started from pit lane and drove through and took it out the big race. I just can't remember exactly what year that was.
Well, I was going to say Perkins, of course, won with Brocky in 82, 83 and 84. 82 and 84, they started on the grid, of course. 84, famous for that pile up on the grid that saw the race red flagged and restarted half an hour later. In 83, however, it was more famous for the fact that they had to change cars halfway through. They had a problem with 05. They pulled Johnny Harvey in. They said, right, you're done. And Brocky and Larry Perkins took over for the rest of the day.
That's right.
Phil Brock, still the unluckiest driver ever to attend Bathurst in the car that won the race and not be credited with the win because he practiced and qualified in the 25. He never got a racing lap. So, and Pins never let anyone forget it either, I must say. And good morning to him if he's tuning in. So the server underway, drivers making their way round now to get going for some practice here as we get ready for the 1000. Matt Davis, one element of this that we haven't had a great opportunity to focus on this week because the attention's been at the pointy end of town is that this is a combined round. So you've got the best of the Super Series with the best of the Super 2E Series sharing the circuit for 161 laps today. I mean, it wouldn't be fair on you and Dean Reddit or myself to line up twice and do two 1000s. So two for the price of one essentially today. Hence why we're crowning both championships today, ladies and gentlemen. We know Kai Turner's been the formidable force on Wednesday Night Motorsport throughout the course of the season. He's starting from pit lane, so it's going to be a big day at the office for him. If it's not Kai Turner being the best placed Super 2 driver at the end of the day, who might it be?
Kai Turner's definitely got his work cut out from pit lane. He doesn't have that much of a lead over John Gillies, who's in hot pursuit, and the racing that has led up to Bathurst between those two has been just absolutely unbelievable. The best racing I've ever seen in the Super 2. And those guys turned it on week in, week out. And I believe Brian Cooper is not too far behind either in the tanked SRT from Garage. So it's extremely close for the Super 2. It's probably almost about the same as what it is between Macca and Leonage at the moment for the Super Series in points wise. So I think it's only a few points in it, not many at all. And it's obviously double points round today, Zach Cave and Mark Johansson. So anything can happen in regards to those championship points. Absolutely.
Double points means everything's on the table and there are a few more championship contenders than there otherwise might have been. So no, it's going to be a lot of fun here to see how the day plays out. Of course, that's the other element of this race as well, Mark Johansson and Matt Davis. I'll get both of you to make a comment here. So many variables with the Bathurst 1000. Strategy goes out the window if we get a safety car, pit stops, traffic, tyre wear, element of risk, all that sort of stuff. But for some of these drivers, there's so much added pressure because they've got three things to think about. The crowning glory of being a Bathurst champion. I mean, they want to join Rainer Costello and Lachlan Murphy in holding that title and holding that claim. But at the same time, you know, Sean McNamara's got the Triple Crown to think about. He's got the outright championship to think about. And it's the same for some of the Super 2 drivers as well. At what point today do they look at weigh up the situation and start to ponder which one's more important? I mean, everyone will say, oh, we want him in Bathurst, we want him in Bathurst. But at the same time, you don't put in 10, now 11 weeks of effort for it all to turn to the proverbial on the biggest day of the year. So at some point here, there might have to be a decision made, especially take Rehan Leonage and Sean McNamara, for instance, Matt Davis. If one of them was to sadly bundle out of this race, the onus will be on the other to bring it home and claim the title. At what point do you make a decision on which is more important in this instance?
That's probably one of the best questions you've ever asked me, Zach Cabe. That's one of the best ones you've ever. It's pivotal, really. It really is. It's I mean, Costello and Murphy, they're going hell for leather. They've got nothing to lose. So the guys at the back of the field who aren't in this championship contention, like Jones and Costello and the likes of Borg and that, they're going for just all-out pace. They're going for the Bathurst win. Leonage, McNamara, that top 2-3 drivers there, you know, they're going for that win at Bathurst. They want that win at Bathurst. But at the back of their minds all day long. That precious little championship is going to be just sitting there and lurking on their mind. They're not going to make dire moves. They're not going to, if they get put down the field in pit stops, they're not going to make lunges up the inside. They're going to play it strategically. They're going to try and let the strategy come to them, try and let that race come to them, and slowly pick them off as they fall away on the pace, whether it be up Mountain Straight, down Conrod Straight. It's, they're the two big main passing opportunities for drivers today. That's where the slipstream's going to be. And look for the moves, getting pulled up into turn 2 into Griffins, and then down into the chase at the bottom of Conrod. So it's definitely dire for those guys up front to really play this strategy today, play it nice and easy, and try and bring that championship home without hurting the car too much. But I mean, you've seen how easy it is to go into the wall over the top, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're on the ragged edge, especially when you've got pressure from behind, pressure in front, and also, tires are worn, drivers are fatigued. So many factors contribute to coming unstuck at the top of the mountain, especially late in the day. And we've seen it so many times over the years. Think Brocky in 1994, I should say. Think Jason Bright, Mark Scaife in those skatey conditions as the drizzle started to descend on Mt Panorama in 2007.
Definitely.
All right, let's press on. Mark?
I think the big thing here is whoever can really look after their tyres. I think the tyres are going to play such a big role. If someone get through to the rear end of a stint and still have reasonable tyres, that they're going to be the ones that are going to come out on top. And there's so much to play. Like safety cars, do you duck in and take fuel early and get a stint and a half on tyres?
Some good feedback and driver and viewer insight coming through on social media here as well. Of course, Jonathan Ben, we wish him all the very best today, stepping out of race control, putting the helmet on, stepping into the car. Going to be a long one. Good luck to all. Hope you all prayed to the mountain last weekend. Daniel Leak, Jono, you got to pray all day as well today, mate. Daniel Leak also saying, how good do the retro liveries look on all the cars? Awesome effort by everyone. And that's something I want to focus on in a little bit more detail in just a moment as well. But before that, Jono saying my co-driver's the fastest guy. He's here to score me points. I like that thinking from Jono. That's really crisp stuff from him this early in the morning. And also a question from one of our viewers, our legitimate viewers, not just drivers tuning in for the sake of it. Of course, what time does the race start? Well, that's the great unknown. It's going to be around 10:25, 10:27 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. It was due to be about 10 minutes earlier than that. We had a little bit of an issue with an iRacing server and a broadcast issue, so therefore we are up and running a little bit later than planned, but we will still get the race underway before 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Suffice to say, you won't be sitting around until sunset like you were last Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. You'll still be able to go out and mow the lawn at about 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time this afternoon, maybe 6 o'clock. We might have to stretch it a little bit, who knows. But one of the great spectacles in Australian sport is now less than an hour away from getting underway. Now, something that's interesting for mine today, Matt Davis, the wildcard entry. We saw them in qualifying. They were third fastest. They had a little bit of bad luck in the shootout. They clipped the wall. They got a 0x, young Hayden Sell and his co-driver, of course, in Adam Simpson. They're going to be a dark horse to watch today. And for people like Rehan Leonage, who's got Laz driving with him, people like Sean McNamara, who's got Dylan Rudd with him, they've got the championship to focus on. They've got the race that they want to win as well. You cannot underestimate the factor that is wildcards and drivers that have nothing to lose today and can afford to throw everything at this race. People like Rainer Costello, Lachlan Murphy, people like Hayden Sell, Adam Simpson. That fifth row is a huge threat to the guys that have been so dominant throughout the course of the whole season, stealing the thunder at the very death on Mount Panorama.
Oh, most certainly is. Okay. And I mean, another young gun crew, really. It's I think it was Hayden Snell, another youngest driver in the field today. So that makes 3 young guns starting off at Bathurst. Won for the first time. Raina Costello, obviously Lachlan Murphy. They're heading off for the second time around the mountain to defend their championship, and then Hayden Snell heading off for the first time in the RSRA as well. So it's those guys are going to be extremely good to watch. We know they're quick, and we know they're extremely quick. And going up against Raina Costello and Lachlan Murphy off the start, it's going to be a drag race between those two to see who can get to turn one first. And I think whoever gets to turn one first out of those two guys will most likely carry one or the other through.
Mark Johansson, you know actually, just before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, you might notice an updated camera package for us this morning here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting, and it is with sincere thanks to our good friend and my colleague from the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Adam Lavis, who has put meticulous attention to detail into putting the camera package together for us for the Goodyear Autocare Warana 1000 and all the other races that the GSRC stage on broadcast from Mt Panorama as well. With great thanks also to SDK Gaming for all their help throughout the course of the season with camera packs. For today, however, it's as close to the real world thing as you're ever likely to see, with thanks to Adam Lavis from the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. I wanted to get that plug in right off the top as well. Huge day today. Track camps for gourmet, I should say, not SJK Gaming. We need to thank SJK Gaming for so many other factors as well. But track camps for gourmet, of course, for the camera packs. My apologies, a little slip of the tongue on my part. Now, we're about 50 minutes away from the start of the 1000, ladies and gentlemen. So at this point in time, let's start to go through the motions and roll with the punches here and look at the championships respectively here. Now, I can't bring these up on the screen for you due to a tech issue brought on by the fact that this is a team's race, not an individual's race. So at this point in time, we'll just go and have a look at the points, and I'll verbally relay the information to you, and we'll do as best we can from here. Now, in the RSRA Super Series for the Goodyear Autocare Warana, let's start there and work our way around, because we've got 4 championships to work our way through, and I'm going to get Matt Davis's insights as we go here. And then we'll start to talk more 1000 specific stuff with Mark Johansson as well. Rehan Leonard, Sean McNamara, Jamie Dyke, Dylan Rudd, and Brian Borg are the top 5 in this championship at this point in time. Rehan Leonard, 1470, 1457 for Sean McNamara. So it's virtually winner takes all today. 13 points is all that separates them. Double points, of course. So much to play out. And the importance of a 5-point bonus for a clean race is not lost on anyone here. However, getting a clean race over 6 hours, easier said than done around Mt Panorama. Battling for the minor places, 1388, Jamie Dyke, Dylan Rudd on 1336. 1246 for Brian Borg. Craig Schultz, 1192, 1188 for Dean Alessi, 1187, if you don't mind. Wow, that's tight. 5 points separates 6th and 8th at this point in time. 1187 for David Kirby. 1102 for Brian Good. Matthew Scholes, 1098 and 1095 for Jared Bailey. That makes up the top 11 there for you. Lindsay Hobbs is 12th on 1,040, 1,029 for Ben Morris. David Coleman on 1,000 neat, and Blake Delaney on 998, making up the top 15 at the moment. So, given that there are 305 points up for grabs today, with that 5-point bonus eligible as well, that means that everyone back to David Kirby in 8th position, if you don't mind, is still in championship contention, theoretically speaking. Technically speaking, you can't see that much going wrong for the top end of town. That said, it's Bathurst. So, Matt Davis, I can't rule David Kirby out just yet.
No, definitely can't. I mean, he's been one of those quiet achievers this season, hasn't he? He's really he's just played consistent and just plucked away at the races and tried to give him as clean as he possibly can. Those little bonus points have plucked him up well inside the top 10 now in 8th position, and he's could be on for a championship. I mean, it's anyone's race. As we always say, it's Bathurst. It brings the uncertains of uncertains out. It's they can be plucked from far left field, and that could be the end of McNamara's or Leonard's or Borg's or it could be the end of everything. You've got to remember McNamara and Rudd as well. They're both teaming up together. So if that car goes out, there's 2 drivers that are out of contention for that championship.
Absolutely. And let's not lose sight of the fact that if they finish, Dylan Rudd's no chance of winning it by virtue of the fact that Sean McNamara is well ahead of him in the points race. So with that in mind, the Triple Crown is also up for grabs in the RSRA Super Series today. Let's update you on how that stands. It is Sean McNamara on top there with 309 and Rehan Leonage on 308. You could not ask for a better scenario than that. 297 for Brian Borg, 290 for Jamie Dyke, 274 for Cameron Jones, David Kirby, 273, 254 for Dylan Pereira, 247 for Jared Bailey. Not on the grid today. We'll explain why in a moment. Brian Good, 242. So too Simon Chadwick, also not on the grid today. And Dean Alessi, 236. And Michael Angus, 236. 233 for Matthew Scholes, 232 for Craig Schultz, and 231 for David Coleman. Take us back to 15th in all of that. Again, the Triple Crown, you've got to sort of try and weigh up which is more important today. And there's 3. It's a juggling act, isn't it? You've got the Super Series up for grabs, for the Super 2 drivers. It's obviously the equivalent Super 2 Series. They've each got a Triple Crown up for grabs. And then you've got the 1,000 as well. Sean McNamara would love nothing more than the treble, but 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3 will suffice, I would say. So we continue on here at this point in time. Let's press on with the RSRA Super 2 E-Series points at this point. Matt Davis, I'm not sure if you've got them up on your screen there at this point in time. Because I was going to say, if you do, it's the floor is yours, and you can run through that top 10 there for me if you don't mind.
Well, Kai Turner, obviously, he's been a formidable force all season long, and he's currently in the championship with a staggering. I'm trying to actually understand your point system here, but he's currently leading the championship by not much, and he's going to be in hot pursuit. Or John Gillies, should I say, is going to be in hot pursuit of Kai Turner today, and that's going to be the real race to watch there. Zach Caban and Mark Johansson, because those two, when they do get in the car together, even though Kai Turner he just has that little bit more of a pace over him, he's just he's got just that little bit of extra pace than what Gillies has got. So it's just that's going to be an extremely great race. And then I believe there's also Brian Cooper in there as well.
I was going to say, if you're struggling to find the numbers, I've got the numbers here in front of me. So
if you've got the numbers there in front of you, rip through them. I don't have the numbers in front of me, unfortunately.
Copy that. Right at the end of the columns, you've got to scroll all the way across to the right-hand side off the screen there, mate. 1483 for Kai Turner, 1437 for John Gillies. So as dominant as Turner has been this season, Gillies has kept him honest every step of the way. 1388 for Stephen Banks, 1365, I think that is. No, 1385, my apologies, for Brian Cooper. So even then, third's up for grabs. 1380 for Alan Dawson, 1333 for Tony Gaffer, 1324 for Matt Whitaker, 1320 for Tim Mulford, 1289 for Stefan Lawrence, and 1282 for our good mate Jonathan Bain there as well. Now, as for the Triple Crown, Stephen Banks on top, 292. Alan Dawson, 291. Kai Turner, 287. 285 for Brian Cooper. 276 for Matt Whitaker. 275 for John Gillies. 275. 265 for Stephen Martin. 260 for Tony Gaffer. Tim Mulford on 259 and 255 for Jonathan Bain there as well. So many of the guys that sit there in the top 5 or 10 in the series outright also sit there in the Triple Crown as well. Now, Mark Johansson, one thing I want to ask you, the importance of teammates, because at some point today, think about young Dylan Pereira in the Phoenix Racing Stable sharing with Timmy Mulford. They may have a role to play in assisting Rehan Leonage and Lassif Leonage. More to the point, Rehan I want to focus on here, help him secure the title. You know the importance of teammates because when you get onto a super speedway and the Weekend Warriors races, it's your teammates or the guy that you work with, your dance partner, that can help you navigate your way towards the pointy end of town. It's a bit different around Bathurst, but teammates still have a role to play here.
Oh, most definitely. Teammates can really help you get to the front with drafting. Well, especially with us, drafting comes into big effect. And it'll be the same here if those guys can team up Mountain Straight and down Conrod. The draft that they get from each other would be so beneficial. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the teammates end up getting together, especially come pit stops. You don't want to double stack. I'll be honest. I've not done a lot with the guys this year, so you just don't want to double stack in pit lane. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. For the whole race, and I've got my little favourite, and
Yep,
you know
yep.
who it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Guys, at this point in time, just whilst I was turning on the aircon here at home, getting ready for the big day, we've had a couple of drivers drop by into the broadcast booth to have a chat to us as we get ready to rock and roll here. There's a 45-minute session warm-up underway on screen right now, so we are heading for actually I'm just having a look, 45 minutes. That's going to push the start back to just after 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time, which is fine by us. Gives us an extra couple of minutes to fill, as they say in the industry. So we'll look forward to a start at around 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, we've got three drivers in the booth here: Jamie Dyke, Rehan Leonage, and Sean McNamara. Jamie Dyke, you guys are pinching yourselves. You had a big win in the shootout yesterday, and obviously the exclusion of Rainer Costello took you from the outside of the second row to the inside of the second row, and the 307 that you're sharing with David Kirby will line up from P3. A great shootout lap from you. How are the nerves going into the biggest day of the year?
Oh, nerves are high, considering we got into the shootout in originally 8th. I am a bit nervous.
Now, who drew the short straw? Who's starting here?
I'll be starting the car.
Lovely. See, none of these blokes wanted to play their cards and reveal their hand last night. Now they're finally telling us a little bit of info that we want to know. What's the plan of attack, mate? I mean, obviously, you've got a very capable co-driver there in David Kirby. Have you guys had a discussion on how many laps each of you are going to do? Is someone prepared to double stint? Is someone prepared to do less than the other? What's the game plan? Any idea?
Yeah, there's an idea. I'll give you some info, but the strategy ain't coming to you, mate.
Okay, all right. We'll wait and watch on with intrigue and interest then. Mate, long day at the office. Sorry, Mark, you go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can tell us, Jamie. No one's listening.
Oh,
no,
apart from the two biggest contenders joining here.
It's only us guys here in the booth, the three of us.
If there was a way to tell you boys without letting Rehan, Laz, Sean, and Dill know, I would.
I look forward to a message on Facebook Messenger on that case. Yeah, absolutely. Hey,
cover their ears.
Let's straighten up here for a second. Jamie, I mean, so many variables here, but you're in a very good position to have a crack from the outset. It's not like you're going to be boxed in traffic in the early stages. So you've got a real good opportunity to throw your hat into the ring here in the opening stint. But at some point throughout the course of the day, you're going to have to deal with, tyre wear, fatigue, driver changes, lap traffic, obstacles on the circuit. Thankfully, no echidnas to speak of. But, I mean, how do you prepare for something like that?
We've done some full stint tests and looked at all our tyre wear and usages, and we do have a strategy that we think we're going to work for us. I have been known to be a bit of an aggressive driver towards the start of the race, but really today I just want to, have a good start behind Sean and Rehan if they're starting the car, and just get away cleanly. It's a big race. We don't need any hot and bothered drivers out there early.
Absolutely, mate.
I was just going to say, Jamie, can you give us any idea you know, between a certain lap and a certain lap that your tyres are lasting in your practice runs? What can we expect out of tyre life?
It's close. It's close to 2 stints, but it really depends on the setup. Some setups will only do a stint and they could blow shortly after. Other setups could do 2 stints comfortably. It's really dependent on how the car's set up and how hard people are pushing, and the track conditions as well.
Let's bring in Sean McNamara and Rehan Leonage at this point in time. Good old John O'Bain's jumped in to have a chat to us as well. We'll get to him very shortly. One of our Super 2E Series competitors lining up today. Already admitting that his co-driver is the stronger link here. So we'll look forward to his insights very shortly. In the meantime, Sean McNamara on top in the Triple Crown by a point, trailing in the main series by, I think it was 13, we said. You're on the front row with the guy that's second to you in the Triple Crown, just ahead of you in the championship. The script writers have been very kind to us, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Top 3 in the championship is top 3 on the grid. So, yeah, it's going to be a belter of a day and long race, and really excited for it. And, yeah, can't wait. 12 points separates P1 and 2. So 3 grid spots at the end of the day is all we need, and let's see how we go.
I noticed that you were up rather nice and early this morning. How'd you sleep? How are the nerves?
Slept like a baby, mate.
Yeah.
Slept like a baby. Yeah, no, look, a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, I think, like anyone and everyone. Part of the race is always a bit anxious until you get in the car and do your thing. But, yeah, look, the day will play out, and regardless of the result, it's been a stunning season, and just looking forward to a good, fun day.
We mentioned this as well yesterday with a couple of the guys. We got their thoughts on this at the end of the shootout broadcast. There's only so much you can do once the green flag flies, because there are going to be circumstances unfold on that circuit that are going to be on well and truly beyond your control. There's going to be a lot that you can control, but when you're out of the car, there's no control at all. So it's just sit, wait, and bite the fingernails, I guess.
Yeah, spot on. You know, Dylan mentioned this morning that he's a bit nervous with the whole championship on the line as well. And as I said to him, you know, it can happen to him, it can happen to me, it could be good, could be bad, it doesn't matter. You know, ultimately, get out there, have some fun, and you find that rhythm. It is nervous, it is quite nerve-wracking watching, especially if you're in that pack and you're trying to fight your way through on bits and pieces if that happens, and that becomes the nervous times. But trust Dylan, and regardless of what happens, mate, again, it's been a great year, so we'll see how we end up. Well,
to be fair, mate, I mean, as much as you've had podium success throughout the course of the season, you've had a good run, and that's not just this season, that's going back to season 1 as well. You know, we'll somewhat forget about the start of season 2, but you ended it on a high. But that being said, you guys, as 9.5 Sim Sport as a whole, have really hit your straps, particularly this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think out of the 11 rounds, we've had 8 or 9 race wins. You know, obviously, Dill's been bloody quick in qualifying, and you know, Chad and the other boys were strong as well. So yeah, it's been a great season for 9.5, and yeah, our data sharing, our development's come a long way. So we're certainly far more competitive than we've ever been, and next season we'll be even stronger.
In good news for all concerned, I can confirm at this point, thanks to the master coordinator, JP, that all teams that qualified on Tuesday night, so that's 32, will line up in today's race. No last-minute cancellations. We've got 32 starters, 64 drivers, one of the great spectacles in Australian sport, the Goodyear Autocare Warana 1000. So looking forward to that getting underway at around 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
I'll just butt in there for a minute.
Go for it, Mark.
Both the 9.5 Sim Sports cars are 1 and 2 in warm up at the moment. So that shines some light on things. Maybe that's an omen for the boys.
Actually, on that note, it's a good segue from you, Mark Johansson. Thank you. How is the sister car looking? I mean, obviously the warm up pace is strong.
Yeah, I think the boys will be strong. They're pretty closely matched in time, both Mitch and Ben. Their race pace is strong. Mitch is ultra consistent. He doesn't do a lot of practice, but that's actually saving grace, I think. He seems to be able to just get in the car and turn consistent laps, and Ben's the same. So, I think they're off 17th. I'd expect them into the 10 by the end of the day, and hopefully pushing towards that 5. They're looking pretty good. I'll just quickly take this chance to Rihan. I know you're in here, mate. It's been a great season. Really looking forward to the battle today, mate. No matter what happens, huge respect to you and how you've driven this season, mate. Hats off to you, and looking forward to it.
Awesome to see the sportsmanship on show right from the outset today. And Sean, at the same time, it's not just Rihan you're up against today. It's one of your favourite old sparring partners as well in Laz.
Yeah, correct, and that's exciting too. And of course, Jamie's nipping at the bit there if Rihan and I practice it. He's in with a cracking shot. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to get back on track with Laz. Him and I have had doozy battles and championship battles as well. So yeah, really looking forward to racing both the Leonardos, but certainly seeing Laz back on track is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have one of the all-stars of RSRA racing back with us on the last day of school, no doubt about that, and it's the longest day of school as well. It's funny, actually, I was talking to some of the Queensland contingent up here earlier in the week. All the kids have done on the last week of actual school is bludge. We're not bludging today. 6 hours of flat-out, hard-fought racing. How do you mentally prepare for something like this, Sean? I mean, long day at the office, got to keep the fluids up, got to keep the adrenaline up. How have you prepared?
Yeah, mate. I'll have me a morning coffee. I'll just keep the fluids up, and I'll have my little snacks there to plug along on. But look, yeah, really, it's just about keeping the nerves down, not trying to get too hot. Obviously, Queensland temperature today is not too bad, I guess. So the aircon running and all those bits and pieces. But yeah, just trying to stay calm, mate, and not overthink anything.
All right, mate. Go well today. Thanks for stopping by for a quick chat here. We appreciate that. Rihan Leonardos, let's bring you in at this point in time. It became clear to us at the end of the shootout broadcast last night that instead of starting third, you'd be starting on the front row. You've made a habit of being at the front end of town right throughout the course of the season. It must be nice to be on the front row for the biggest spectacle of the year.
Oh yeah, I reckon it was a good shootout performance. Best shootout for me. But yeah, I reckon it'll just be thinking about the race and not trying to think too much about the pressure, but just drive calmly.
Absolutely. Now, it's all nice, good and well to sit here at 2 minutes to 10 Eastern Daylight Time and say, drive calmly. That being said, once the red lights go out, once the visor goes down, how difficult is it going to be to remain calm for the 6 hours?
I reckon it's going to be pretty difficult, but just try not to be too impatient. That's about it. Try to keep consistent with little to no mistakes, and that'll be a long race.
Stay with me there, Rihan. I want to come back to you in just a moment. One of the cars on screen here now is one of the great aspects of this particular round is retro theme. The guys have put together some magnificent retro liveries. One of our all-time favourites there, the Green Stuff Falcon of Dick Johnson, built in Mustang form. Brian Borg starting from the back of the grid, starting from pit lane, in fact, on the back of that late co-driver change. And if anyone, Matt Davis of the 4 starting from pit lane, is a chance of coming through and stealing the show here, it's this guy on screen.
Oh, it's going to be a quick pairing today. It's Borgie and his co-driver. I believe it's Thomas Freeman. They're extremely quick drivers. They know Bathurst very, very well. Borg especially. He's actually just took out a victory over the I think it was last weekend. He took out a victory at Bathurst alongside Corey Shepherd for the AOSC Bathurst 1000. So it's he's going to go for the double one, I think. So today it's going to be a long road ahead of him. Lots of traffic, lots of aero wash to go through, especially across the top of the mountain. So if he plays his cards right, and we've seen the strategy. If he can play the strategy right, I think Borgie's going to have an extremely good chance today to get up inside the top 10. I keep going to say tonight because I'm so used to sitting next to Zach Maven on a Tuesday night and calling this, but it's Sunday morning at 10 o'clock and it's I'm completely out of whack.
We're only half an hour away from the start, ladies and gentlemen. So stick with us. The best is yet to come from Matt Davis throughout the course of the day. I don't think Brian Borg's in the car at this particular point in time, gentlemen, because he's commenting on our Facebook live stream saying, "Man, my car is bright in the broadcast, looking there. It's sparkling on the biggest day of the year, and you want it to be well presented on this day, Brian. It stands out, mate. You've done well, very well done." Rehan, now that Jamie and Sean have let themselves out, are you willing to divulge any information with regards to who's starting your car, please?
I'll be starting.
You'll be starting.
Hey.
Excellent stuff. Biggest start of the year, most difficult start of the year, and that run to Hell Corner, oh so critical. Have you done any practice starts with the full tank of gas here?
Yeah, a couple of practice starts here and there, but yeah, I don't really think it's a too complicated start.
That's what I like. Some confidence.
Absolutely, and he oozes confidence for an 11-year-old. He has such maturity beyond his years. This bloke, he has dominated throughout the course of the season. He's been at the forefront of every single Tuesday night broadcast we've brought you, ladies and gentlemen. Race wins, podium finishes, consistency has been the key. A couple of slips along the way. We mentioned it yesterday. The reverse grid race at the Hungaro Ring did not serve him all that well. And, of course, you had the incident with Dylan Rudd in the Summit Point round a couple of weeks ago, which is still one of the most talked about incidents of the year. But apart from that, Rehan, everything has fallen somewhat into place for you. You hold a slender lead here with regards to Sean McNamara. And like Sean, all three on the line for you today. You could win the 1,000, you could win the Triple Crown, you could win the championship as well. If you can't take all three, which would you like the most?
Championship.
Okay, all right, very interesting. And of course, that's exactly what I mentioned to Matt Davis and Mark Johansson about half an hour ago, ladies and gentlemen. At what point, if Sean McNamara and Dylan Rudd were to have something go wrong and drop out of the race, does Rehan and Laz change their strategy and think about championship more so than Bathurst 1000? You've just heard it there. Championship is the one that Rehan wants the most. Nothing else
We are
is
looking
as
for
important.
a podium. We are looking for a podium there.
Well, there you go. So podium finish. Watch for those guys. And if anyone can achieve it, Matt Davis, it's the Leonages.
Oh, certainly. That's I'm excited to see Laz back in the car. Really, I know Rehan's actually up and faster than his older companion at the moment. And I believe he's going to have a ripping start today, and really set the pace for Laz to try and to keep up with those times, because it's been a while since Laz has been in the seat, and we've seen him in the seat. So I reckon the joints are going to be a little bit rusty, I think, Zach Tatum.
That's a fair point too. Hey, Rehan, we really appreciate you stopping by for a quick chat here before the broadcast, mate. Go well, and we'll check in throughout the day.
All right, thank you.
He's you can sense a couple of nerves there, and who could blame him? So much on the line today at 11 years old. What he's achieved this season, I've not achieved in a lifetime. The bloke has made a lot of us look very, very silly. So we wish him the very best of luck today. Mark?
Every time I've tuned in through the season, when I've had the chance, Leon's been at the pointy end, and I mean to say, as you said, Zach, you can hear the little bit of nerve in his voice. But yeah, I think he's going to get a good, clean start in the Hell Corner. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if he does get it off the line nice and cleanly.
Now, not too far off having to take a break here, guys, so that our Facebook feed can jump over to the race broadcast. But before that, Rainer Costello's in the booth, and then Matt Davis can have a chat to a couple of his Super 2 contingent, namely Peter Kelly and Jonathan Bain as well. But before all of that, let's get to Rainer Costello. We sensed that you were a little bit aggrieved last night when you realised that, there was no way you were getting out of the penalty that Race Control slapped on you, mate. I know that just adds fuel to the fire, and you're keen to go from 10th this morning. How are the nerves?
Well, at the time, I did not realise there was a rule against it. So obviously now we've found out. So I won't be doing that again. That's for sure. But we will start from 10th. I think the main thing will be not really charging too hard through the first stint, making sure we keep the car good, keep tyres good. Lachlan's been talking to me about that, and just making sure we're in a good position because it's a long race. Anything can happen. So yeah, that'll be the main plan of attack from 10th today.
Just have a look at the times on screen there, ladies and gentlemen, at this very point in time. 2:05.024 for the 9.5 SimSport number 1 entry. Is the fastest of this morning warm-up. 2:06.076 is next best. So the 9.5 SimSport boys have gone out and made a statement from the outset here. But Lachlan Murphy and Rainer Costello are second fastest at this point in time, just ahead of Brian Borg and Rehan Leonard. So the guys that we've probably painted as the favourites all week are right there, first, second, third, and fourth, and then that 9.52 looking good in P5 at this point in time. 24 minutes left in the warm-up session, so about 10 minutes before, well, actually about 5 minutes before we're going to bail out of here and take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Rainer, who starts and why?
I think I'll start the car today. Just because it's in the first stint, I'm feeling comfortable. I've done a lot of laps, yeah, then we'll figure out. Well, we've got it figured out, but I won't probably say right now. But probably got our strategy figured out. It should be pretty good. Lachlan, especially with his limited practice time, he's doing awesome. He's in the warm-up session now. He's doing consistently low sixes, 6.0 at one point. So he's not going to be far off. He's going to be right on the money. And yeah, he's especially as we saw last season, he had a very budget sim set up last season.
Yep.
And he's upgraded a lot of things for this season. He's feeling a bit more consistent. So I reckon Lachlan will be one to watch out for today as well.
Last one before the red mist descends. In fact, since the red mist descended about 6 o'clock last night, I have to ask, how aggressive, how attacking is this first opening stint going to be from you? I mean, boxed in traffic in the early stages, wasn't in the script for you guys. How determined are you to be as close to P1 at the end of the opening stint into the first round of pit stops at this point in time? Because last year you pretty much led it from the outset and didn't look back.
Well, obviously it's going to be eyes forward from the start, but I'd say for the first 1 or 2 laps, it'll just be like survive. Don't get caught up in anything. Preferably at the end of the sim will be top 5 to top 3, but with safety cars and strategy, anything can happen and things can change in a heartbeat. So yeah, that preferably top 3 to top 5 at the end of the first stint.
Running short for time here, Rainer, and I've just had an all-star drop into the booth, so I'm going to let you go. All the very best with the race start. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Quickly to Lassiv Leonard, ladies and gentlemen. How nice to have the champ rolls into the booth at 10 past 10 on a Sunday morning. 20 minutes out from race start, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have him back. I have to ask, as a driver, how are the nerves? As a father, how are the nerves? Because this is a big day for the Leonard stable.
How are we? It's been a while.
It has. Good to have you on board, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, it's been 2 seasons since I raced, so yeah, I'm a little nervous, but still got a little bit of pace on this track, so should be all right.
A little bit of pace. Watch, you'll be one of the fastest out there, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be fantastic. Lads, Rehan's already stated that the championship's what he wants to wrap up today. So essentially, a Bathust 1000 triumph would be the icing on the cake for you. You've already got a championship to your name. You don't have a Bathust 1000 to your name, though. Which is most important for you?
Me, I'm just here to support Rehan, so wrapping up the championship for him, and hopefully the Triple Crown as well will be the goal.
All right. Looking forward to seeing how you go throughout the course of the day, mate. Of course, Rehan's already let slip that he's starting. How much time behind the seat are you going to have throughout the course of the day? Have you guys got a plan and what the percentage split is going to be? 60-40, 50-50?
To be honest, mate, depends on who's clocking the fastest lap times at the time. But most likely be him. He's definitely quicker than me.
All right, mate. We're going to let you fly. Go well. All the very best for the day.
Soon.
All right, Matt Davis, I'm going to throw it to you, Jonathan Bain, and also Peter Kelly standing by for you to have a chat to.
Oh, mate, thank you very much. Peter Kelly, I'll start with you, mate. Welcome into the booth. And, mate, looking forward to one of the biggest races of the year for you. Nerves definitely have to be sitting in, especially coming into roughly about 15 minutes out from the start of the race.
Hey, everyone. Good to be up here. I've never come up this seat because of results. But no, it's good. Not nervous at the moment. I've got Tom in the car. I brought him in externally from our team because we only had one car running this season, so he's out there doing laps. So I'll finish up another coffee and see how we go. Not the best qualifying for us. We were both up in times, but just couldn't get the lap down, unfortunately. So we're starting from the back, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's all right. We're here to enjoy it and have a good day.
Mate, preparation work for you and Tommy for today. What was going into it? I mean, it's obviously, you just said you finished off another coffee, but the laps, how many laps have you guys put down around Mt Panorama to be able to try and just dial in the setup that you guys are running?
Well, we're running the same setup that we ran for the official Bathurst earlier on in the year. We both enjoyed it. We had two cars in the official Bathurst in two different splits, and both cars came third. So we did pretty well in the official. Now, splits are different in the official compared to here, noting that the competition in here is just so tight and so quick. Some of these guys are just unbelievable. So our preparation was, we've done a Bathurst, let's do it again.
Where are you hoping to end up at the end of the day, mate? I mean, it's 161 laps. It's a long race. It's a long damn race, that's for sure. Anything can happen. Safety cars, we know that there's definitely going to be a safety car or 5 across the board of the day. If we can go safety car free for 161 laps, damn, it's going to be a quick race. Mark Johansson for that one. But and I'd love to see it. But if we can go, there's obviously going to be a few safety cars, couple driver changes throughout. What are you hoping for out of today, mate? What are you hoping to accomplish?
My goal all season has been top 10. Today is going to be a bit tight to get top 10, so top 20, top 15, and of course to finish, get the double points and see how we end up in the championship. Before I take a break next season, unfortunately, I have to duck off. I won't be back next season for racing. I'll be hanging around back in race control, so a good result to the season. Season end is what we're after today, before we come back in probably the second season next year. So that's where we're at.
Well, we look forward to having you back next year, no doubt, mate. Godspeed for today, and we will most likely catch up, no doubt, at some point. So all the best, mate, and give her hell.
Cheers, lads. Catch you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we take a quick hot lap? Let's have a quick break. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. There we go. Sorry, my apologies. I read that wrong completely. I saw a hot lap and I've gone, well, why not? Let's get straight into one. So, no, let's continue on. Jonathan Bain, mate, welcome into the booth. Retiring from the race control from next season and retired from it for today to strap the booties on, strap the helmet over the head, and give yourself a bit of a show. Big slide by the 125. And, mate, obviously going into Bathurst, 161 laps for you. God knows how many times we've all done it already. And you're pairing up with a trusty companion as well today. You're hoping for a good result?
Oh, of course. Roped in some fast Kiwi that does all our paint. So yeah, he's pushing me this week. I'm struggling to keep up with him with times, but we're both really consistent. We've worked on a set that we've used before, and Dan's been doing a lot of research, and we've tidied it up. So qualifying wasn't great for us, but the car's consistent. It's a long day, and you know me, I never qualify well, but I always tend to race up. So
yeah, I'll give you credit where credit is due there, Jonathan. It's your racecraft is definitely up there among some of the best. You definitely know how to pluck away at those positions, mate. Cars feeling stable for you guys out there today? I mean, we're only in warm-up. There's still a long race to go. Track conditions are going to change. It's going to rubber up. It's going to heat up, and then it's going to cool off towards the end of the day and get really fast. But at the moment, just in warm-up for you guys, the car coming to you slowly?
Yeah, it's stable enough in the warmer track, but generally the way Dan sets our setups up, they usually come to us pretty well. So this one seems to be on par with some of his better ones. So should be fun. It's manageable when it gets loose as well, which is great. So if I, as you said before, with Rian for nerves, I'm nearly 4 times the guy's age, and I'll tell you what, even I'm bloody nervous.
Mate, to have a cool, exactly understandable. To have a cool, calm, and collected head like the likes of like the young Rehan Leonard. it's amazing. That just goes to show that even coming from a race myself last night in my final, I was absolutely crapping my pants. So I mean, for him to, I'm sure he's going in with a few little nerves under the belt. He's just trying not to show them on the broadcast, I think. So I think Laz will be having a few words to him, no doubt, to try and calm him down. But mate, obviously going into next year now, out of the car, not in a full-time drive, and also out of race control. And going to be looking forward to having some family time, enjoying just a bit of a break.
Oh, for sure. Like, as you know, family life's going to be getting a bit busy, so it's been a bit of a challenge up to now anyway. But hoping to still help here and there. I just can't, with race control, I just can't lock myself into, the set times in every week, because unfortunately, I never know what the hell's going to happen week to week. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Well, mate, look, I'll let you go, get ready for the race. We've got not long to go, about 10 minutes roughly till race start, Jono. So we've got another driver quickly to get through before we do go to that one.
Actually,
and is that Caben?
On that note, I was going to say, before you introduce David Kirby, I'm going to hold off on getting to David Kirby until the other side of the break, folks. We are running a little bit short for time here, and I know we'll get to have a chat to David before he gets in the car, because Jamie Dyke is starting the 307. Jono, good luck today, mate. All the very best. We'll check in throughout. We'll check in with all the drivers throughout the course today, a plethora of them jumping into the booth throughout the course of 161 laps. In the meantime, a feed change alert for those of you on Facebook Live. Stand by. There'll be a new feed on the platforms of RSRA and SimShed Broadcasting here as we get going in the Goodyear Autocare Warana 1000. So switch over to the race feed, which will be coming up in a matter of minutes. And immediately on the other side of the break, for those of you tuning in on our YouTube feed, it'll be Rehan Leonage, Raina Costello, and Hayden, of course, Sell taking it for a hot lap of the 6.213 kilometre Mt Panorama Bathurst circuit. The Goodyear Autocare Warana 1000.